Welcome. I would like to share with you a little bit about my journey, where I came from, and how I have arrived to where I am now. This is a little bit of about me. I'm Andrea Daley, a certified coach and life transformation specialist, a speaker, master's in psychology, and the creator of the Empowered You method. So go back with me, if you will, to when I was a little girl. I am a third generation only child. I grew up in a dysfunctional home, and I carried with me this overarching kind of burden of just loneliness and brokenness throughout most of my childhood. Fast forward to when I'm about 19 years old and I'm open to the idea of meeting a partner. The only criteria I had for finding a husband was that he had to come from a home that was not broken. That was it. So when I met him, he was energetic, had a lot of charisma, he was driven, and he had a lot of future goals planned. And his family took me in like their own, like the daughter they never had, and they became the family that I never had growing up. And it was really incredible until it wasn't. You see, I had daddy issues. I didn't know it at the time. But what that meant was that there was this subconscious part of me that felt that I was totally unworthy of love. And so I ignored all the red flags, and I ended up picking a man who was totally incapable of loving me well. So for 36 years, I was married to a workaholic narcissist. He worked, paid all the bills, I did everything else. Communication was scarce, and I was always at the bottom of his priority list. So to fill that deep emotional void that I had, I created a huge family to pour my love into. 9 children. And I loved being a mom. I homeschooled my kids. I just loved being a full-time mom. And I tried to be the best wife that I could be. But that didn't fix the dysfunctional marriage that I had that was destined to fail. So the year COVID hit, I received this text message from my husband with one question. You want to know what it is? He asked me, how many days do we need to legally be separated in order to apply for divorce? I had no idea that we were headed for divorce, but he was done. When my marriage ended, everything I knew to be true fell apart into a gazillion pieces. I was lost, broken, and alone, and I had no idea how to even begin picking up the broken pieces. I fell into a very deep victim mentality. I started immediately getting into the too much zone, too much busyness just to not have to acknowledge where I really was in the moment. Too much loud music to drown out all the negative thinking I had in my head. Too much alcohol just to numb the pain. And too much shopping just to get a few high dopamine hits. I threw myself a nice long pity party, and when anger and resentment joined, my heart started turning so black, I barely even recognized myself anymore. I knew that I needed to find some kind of outside help, or I was going to lose myself in the midst of all this. So some friends recommended try therapy. So I did. I got on board with some therapy sessions, but soon into it, several sessions later, I realized this wasn't what I needed at this stage in my life. I didn't need to dig all the bones out of my backyard and rehash the past. The psychologist in me knew that I had been skirting around the edges up until now, and I was ready to go through the fire to get to the other side, because that's where the fertile ground laid. So with the sole purpose of just self-help, I enrolled in a 2-year-long coaching certification program, just to pour the tools and the strategies over me and to absorb all the coaching. I was so transformed during that process that coaching became my new purpose in life. Women didn't need to go through this alone. I am a true believer that we are exactly where we're meant to be in our journey, and that belief empowers my clients to learn how to just get that unshakable confidence they need, and with clarity and direction to be able to draw the boundaries for their own life, to be able to live their best life possible and never settle for anything less. I absolutely love being a life coach. I love being able to come alongside women and empower them on their journey and to let them know they don't need to do this alone. Our culture doesn't tell us that. Our culture says, don't ever show any sign of weakness. Pull up your big girl panties and keep on trucking. Don't get me wrong. I am woman, hear me roar, right? I can do it alone. I did do it alone. And it was exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. And that's why I created my Empowered You method, built on 3 important pillars: rediscovery, realignment, and renewal.